All right, so this is a list I came up with the last couple of days, and I wanted to keep everything fairly simple. I didn't want to overwhelm anybody. I said there was going to be 8. There's actually 12 or 13, and I think that if you can write these down, if you can make this your checklist for the next 4.5 months, you're going to be in a much better spot. You're going to be more prepared for what's coming. You're going to have more Bitcoin, and your Bitcoin is going to be more secure than it is today. So very, very quickly, I'm going to run through all these, write them down, make a little box beside it. And at the end of the year, we're going to check back on these and see how many that you did, or I did. This is kind of a list for myself too, even though I've already done a few of these. But okay, so let's get started here. The first one, and this is the last minute edition that we just had on the show before. But get at least 1 million sats. Make that your goal for the next 4.5 months. And I think that it's very attainable for people. I think I mentioned that it costs about $550 US or like $800 Canadian. So make that your goal. I'm assuming most people who watch the show already have that. But if not, if you're a new viewer of the show, make that your goal for the rest of the year. Get to 1 million sats. Very doable, but some of these are going to tie in where you can actually find a way to do that without actually paying for it. So number 2 here, I'm going to go from the bottom actually. These are in no particular order, but the second one here is find one new way to earn Bitcoin. So if you're somebody who uses Fountain, if you're somebody who plays Solitaire a couple times a day for sats, if you're somebody who uses the Fold app or the ShakePay app. Oh no, I got to sneeze again. I saw a comment. Okay, I gotta stay focused here. There was a good comment on the YouTube yesterday about it. My silent sneeze. It wasn't though, it just went away. So find at least one new way to earn Bitcoin, whatever that is. Start leaving reviews on Hey Apollo, or just start looking for ways. Ask on Nostr, how are you earning Bitcoin? Ask on Twitter, how is everybody earning Bitcoin? And just try to find one new spoke for your wheel of sats, your sats flow. Try to add at least one new way to earn Bitcoin every day or every week, whatever that is. It's going to add up over time. Number 3, finish at least one book. I want everybody to get into the habit of reading because there's so much information out there, so much good information. I prefer nonfiction myself, but just getting into a habit of reading and seeing words and writing words is, we just live in such a digital world now. And I feel like people are just getting dumber every day. People are getting dumber. They're just spending their time flipping through videos, scrolling through pictures, being jealous, being envious. It's very, very negative. But you sit outside, you get a good book, and make your goal to finish one. Because I think that a lot of people, including myself, start books and they never finish them. And don't feel like you have to read every chapter. If it's a book that you're interested in, let's say it's the Bitcoin Standard, and you want to skip a chapter because you're just simply not interested in it, or you think that you're very familiar with that already, do it. Who cares? There's no laws that say you have to start a book and finish the book from word to word. Try to get through books as fast as possible. That's one thing that I've changed in my approach. I used to just like take months and months and months to read a book because I really wanted to have everything soak in. But even after that time, by the end of the book, I've already forgotten half it. So just like find a good book that you're interested in, finish it, and don't worry about reading every word or understanding every word. Just try to get through it as fast as you can. Become a faster reader. I think that's a good sign of an intelligence for people, is how fast you can read a book. My dad can read he read Atlas Shrugged, I think, in like a month. That's Atlas Shrugged right there. It's about that thick. And he doesn't read all day, every day. He just fucking zips through them because he's so familiar with reading books. That's one thing that I want to get better at. So for me and for you, finish at least one book in the next 4 months. Next one here, number 4, send a zap on Nostr. So I was going to say set up a Nostr account, but I think a lot of people already have done that. Or people have started it. They created an account, but they've never really done anything. So try to send at least one zap on Nostr. Create an account, connect it to your Lightning wallet. You can use Alby, you can use Wallet of Satoshi, Minibits, eNuts. and just send a zap to somebody on Nostr. And if you don't have anybody to zap, just kidding. But if I've talked about, if you want to get somebody's attention, send them a zap. If you want to ask Jeff Booth a question, or if you want to ask Weston Pish a question, send a zap and say, here's my question. Oh, what happened there? I cut out. You're still alive? It went dark for a second there. Okay, looks like we are. So that's number 4, send a zap on Nostr. Number 5, buy something with Lightning. So if we want this Bitcoin thing to succeed, we have to support the people who are accepting Bitcoin for payment. So we've seen a purchase of a shirt on juxtapose.store. These are a couple things I bought in the last 6 months with Lightning. I bought the shirt. I bought a BitAxe. I bought something from Crypto Cloaks. I bought honey. I overpaid for honey, but I bought honey, all with Lightning. And I think that once you go through that, it's a whole new experience. You don't have to connect to your bank account, your PayPal. Nobody knows who's buying it. I mean, you have to put in your shipping address, of course, but there's ways around that to become more private too. You can create your own little, I don't know. I don't do that myself, but it's good. It's a good privacy tip. But just buy something with Lightning. One thing. Go to juxtapose.store, buy a shirt for 30,000 sats or whatever it is, 25,000 sats. Use Lightning. Use your LB wallet. So it's a brand new experience for people. And so, I mean, before that, you'd have to actually fund your Lightning wallet. So that's the whole process there. But buy something with Lightning, online or in person. If you're in a bigger city and there's like Bitcoin meetups, or if you're in Calgary and they do the Saturday markets, buy like coffee with it. Oh, that's the other thing I bought with Lightning is coffee from our good friends at Grey Ridge. So just one more time there. Juxtapose.store. That's for like Bitcoin shirts and apparel. Greyridge.coffee if you want to buy some coffee with Bitcoin. It's made right in this area, or roasted here in this area. You got Crypto Cloaks if you're looking for a 3D case or 3D anything for your BitAxe, for whatever. Solo Satoshi accepts Lightning, I believe. If you want to get a BitAxe, you can pay with Lightning. Honey, I think it's sweetsats.io. Pretty expensive, especially here in Canada. I think the shipping costs more than the honey itself. But if you're in the US, then you can get honey. It's really good honey. I put it on. I should have brought it here, but I just have some toast. I put some butter on it. It's like liquid honey, but very fresh, very high quality honey, and you can pay with Lightning. Sweetsats.io. So some of these ones I have an affiliate link with. You can probably find it under the show notes, but some of them I don't. I just want people to try buying something with Lightning to get your experience with it and to support the Bitcoin companies. And forgot to mention, if you want to buy some King Golf stuff, hats, hoodie, whatever it is, new polo, just reach out to me and we can do a Lightning payment for that. I don't have it connected to our King Golf site yet, but you can get a hold of me. The next one here, this is number 6. And this is kind of a mindset shift. But I want you to start fresh with Bitcoin. I don't know how much you have. I don't know how long you've been accumulating Bitcoin for. But I want you to start today and just forget about it. Reset. Pretend you actually did get into a boating accident and you lost all your Bitcoin. Start fresh today and just get as much as you can, because you don't want to become complacent. Like I say that you need 1 million sats. And if you have that, don't start getting complacent here. Start fresh. Try to get as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. And start from here. Whatever Bitcoin you have now, that's a different life. I just think that it'll make you hungrier to get more Bitcoin. If you actually believe that you have 0 Bitcoin and you want to get as much Bitcoin as you can, you're hungrier. So just try that. Start fresh in Bitcoin. Start a brand new stack and a new goal. Number 7 here. Do one thing that you've been putting off or wanting to do. That could be anything. That could be getting a new dog. That could be taking your spouse out for a nice date, going out for, sitting in the bed of a truck or on a blanket, watching the stars, whatever that is. Just something that you've been wanting to do for a while. Maybe a couple years have gone by. Time goes fast. But do one thing that you've been putting off. That could also be something financially, putting money into a savings or a RESP or a Bitcoin fund or whatever that is. Do one thing that you've been putting off, or even starting like a new business. Let's say you make something for fun and you've been wanting to set up a website to sell them. Do one thing that you've been putting off for a while. That's number 7. Number 8 is find yourself a local farmer within your area. And it's going to require a bit of work, probably, but talk to your friends, ask them where they get meat. I mean, it's very easy here in the prairies in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. There's lots of beef around here. But for some places, it might be a little bit harder. So reach out to your network, say, do you have any places to get local beef? Then you get yourself a cow, a half cow, quarter cow, you put it in your freezer and you're good to go. If the grocery store is shut down for a couple of weeks, you got a whole bunch of food in the freezer. Shit hits the fan, you're not going to go hungry. So find yourself a local farmer. You can get some eggs there, some veggies, some meat. You don't have to worry about the Bitcoin aspect yet. Maybe if you have a good relationship after a year or two, you say, hey, do you want to accept Bitcoin for this? But just start by finding local food and try to get away. The grocery stores are very fiat. And our whole goal here is to get away from the fiat system. It's not to get as much Bitcoin as we can. Our goal here is to get out of the fiat system. So finding a local source of food would be a big addition to that. So that's number 8. Number 9 here is spend the next couple months thinking of a 5-year goal. So if the people within the Living in the Future community here, we've been watching a ton of Earl Nightingale stuff over the last couple months. And his big thing is that the only way to measure someone's success is by having a goal, one single goal, one direction that you're going towards. He compares like 2 boats. One's going with a route and one has no route. And think about a boat out in the ocean that has no route, doesn't know where it's going. Think about what happens there versus a plane or a boat that knows exactly where it's going. It has one port that it's going to, one direction. So think about that for yourself, because that's how you actually, you're going to subconsciously set yourself up every single day, every decision you make. If you have that one goal that you're focused on, you're going to base your life around that and you're going to make that happen. But the first thing you have to do is come up with that. Figure out what it is that you want, whatever it is, financially, family, whatever it is. Starting a business, does not matter what it is. I'm not going to tell you what your goal should be, but make sure that you have one goal going into 2025 for the next 5 years. January 1st is going to come. We're not going to set any annual goals. We're going to set a 5-year goal by 2030. So start thinking of that. Think about, play through all these different scenarios. What is the most important thing in your life that you want to achieve? One thing. So that was number 9. I don't know. I think this is number 10. Set up a Lightning wallet. I know that there's a lot of people who watch the show who still do not know how to use Lightning. And what I would say here is I would take like $100. I'd buy some sats. I'd download a wallet and I'd figure out how to use that wallet. If you're in Canada here, figure out the Phoenix wallet. If you're in the US, figure out the Zeus wallet. If you're anywhere else on earth, or you're not quite there yet, start with the wallet of Satoshi and understand the differences between them, and funding a Lightning channel and adding liquidity to it. Figure out how to, first of all, set one up, but then figure out how to use it, because I know fees are incredibly low right now, but there's going to come a time where they're not. And you're going to want to have some Bitcoin on Lightning that you can easily transact with without having to pay a bunch of fees on it. So set up a Lightning wallet. I'm sure most people have one, but I know that there's a lot of people who don't. So that was number 10. Number 11, get yourself a BitAxe. Start learning about mining. Start contributing to the Bitcoin network. Help it decentralize. And you never know. You hit a block, you get 3 Bitcoin. your life changes forever. And don't count on that. Obviously, I have no intention of ever hitting a block. I think that I will. I hope that I will. But I'm not going to be disappointed if I don't. That's not what it's about. You're spending $200 or 150 US. You're paying like a couple bucks a month in energy costs. You're contributing to the network. You're learning new things. If you hook up to a pool, you're going to get some non-KYC Bitcoin. But even if you're solo mining, you're just being part of it and going through the whole process and contributing to the network. So set up a BitX. If you don't have one yet, you can go to just shoot me an email, depending on where you're listening to this. If you're on Zapstream or somewhere else, but if you're on YouTube, it's in the show notes. BitX. Okay, and then the last two here. This is number 12. And this might sound insane to some people, but I don't think that it is. Set up a muster point for your family. Make this a priority. Make this number one. It's very easy to do. Make this your number one priority out of this whole list. I know it sounds stupid, but I'm serious. Text your family, your immediate family, your brother, your sister, your mom and dad, kids, whatever it is, and just say that we're heading into an election year. Historically, there's been some sort of event that happens every election year. So instead of being caught off guard, if something happens, if communication goes down, if the power goes out for a while, this is where we're going to meet. My house, mom and dad's house, cousin's house, whatever it is. I don't know what your inner circle looks like, but just send them a message and saying, this is where we're going to meet. Because the last thing you want to happen when everything's gone to shit, if it does, and you're cut off from your family, you don't want to be driving in fucking circles looking for each other, because there's a good chance that the gas stations are going to be out of gas or unable to accept payments, whatever that is. So you don't want to be driving around aimlessly and looking for your family. You want to have one point, and if nothing comes of it, perfect. That's even better. If you never run into a situation where you're going to need that, that's even better. But you want to be prepared for it. And the last one here, number 13. Ooh, I don't like the number 13. Might have to come up with another one on the fly here so we don't have to have 13. I'm weird with numbers. But number 13 here is make a one-pager for security. Doesn't have to be a full page. It could be one little blurb for your family. If something were to happen to you tomorrow, let's say you had a brain aneurysm, heart attack, got mauled by a bear. Life is very unpredictable. Things happen very fast. And ask yourself the question, if I died today, would my family know how to access my Bitcoin? Would they? I don't know. Mine would, to a point. Most of it. And maybe I don't, I would like to get into a place where they're going to be able to access all of it. Obviously, you're supposed to be able to. Otherwise, you spent your whole life working for this. You put all this time into Bitcoin. You went through all this trouble. You put it into Bitcoin and you die and it's gone. All of your energy from your life gone because you were too fucking lazy to make a one-pager. It doesn't have to be like a full sheet. It doesn't have to be. All you have to do is just put, if something were to happen to me, this is what you do. And here's the other thing that I want to add to that too. We're going to have something coming out in the next couple months here or a month that to help people with this. So if you're not comfortable with this, if you don't think your family is capable of it, either reach out to us and we'll put you in our little pilot program we're doing, or just say this, write this down. If you don't know how to do it, if I haven't done a good enough job explaining how to access the Bitcoin, contact Jor. And that probably sounds sketchy. I'm not trying to make it sketchy, but here's the thing. You want to have somebody who knows Bitcoin that can help your family with it. And if you watch the show, you probably have some inherent trust in me to make the right decision and help people in the best way possible. But underneath that, and this is where you kind of safeguard yourself, you say, under no circumstances should you ever give him or anybody else access to this private key. Regardless of what he says, he will never need your private key. That's how you can safeguard. That's how you add a layer of trust there. in the sense that they can email me. They can say, I'm not going to wish death upon anybody here. Let's say Colonel Sanders died. I'm his nephew. The note, the one-page document that he had said, contact you. So I'm reaching out. What can I do to recover this Bitcoin? And so I would not need your private key to tell you how to access your Bitcoin. I could tell you what to do with your private key, but you have to make sure that in bold, and this could be for me, this could be for a cousin who's a Bitcoiner, whatever it is. But regardless of who you're telling them to reach out to, make sure you have that in bold. Under no circumstances should you ever give them or anybody else your private key, because if they have this private key, the Bitcoin's gone. They have access to it now. So I want you to be, I want that to be part of, I would say, make that your number one priority. Number one page for security. Do it today. It'll take you 5 minutes. Write it on a piece of paper. If something happens to me, this is what you do. If you can't figure it out, contact Jor. Under no circumstances, never give him your private key or anybody else. Do that one today. Number 2 is muster point. And then everything else is just kind of going to help you get prepared, get you more Bitcoin. But that's it. That's it.